Good evening, good morning, and good night. Thank you for watching my channel, my new channel, Days of Enlightenment International Ministries, called DUAM. My name is Yahada Yasrael. It's my Hebrew name. I just want to go over what this channel is about and make a short video. This channel aims to methodically explain the scriptures in regards to the culture, identity, and purpose of the one royal family in the Bible. The people the Most High said to Abram, who later became Abraham, that I will make you a great nation, Genesis 12:2. This ministry consistently points out that great nation and who and where they are today in 2020, and why it is important to reestablish that nation's culture, identity, and purpose, and to show that that nation is the descendants of slaves in America and scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, from the people spoken to in Deuteronomy 28. With biblical and historical proof, there can be no doubt or valid argument made to dispute the children of Israel are the people scattered to the four corners of the earth. It will be made clear what is culture, identity, purpose, and the ancient Paleo-Hebrew language. Figure out how to turn this back around towards me. Okay. I'm going to start with the language. You see this book? This book does a very good job. See, I'm citing my sources where I get this information from. The Ancient Hebrew Lexicon of the Bible. This book does a very good job of explaining the language itself. Okay, I want to be clear. There is ancient Paleo-Hebrew, okay, and there's also a modern Hebrew, which is actually Yiddish language using the Hebrew script. The script meaning the letters or the alphabet, using the ancient Paleo-Hebrew alphabet, but with the Yiddish language. And the Yiddish language is made up of mostly German and a few other languages. I think it's like 50 to 60% German. But what I want you to understand from this Bible is to get clear about the abstract and concrete. And I do want to take my time to read this part to you so it can be clear in your mind and you can get the book and see it yourself. Now, I've been told a lot of times the Bible is written in Greek and Latin as the original version, but that's not true. The original version of the entire Bible, Old and New Testament, was ancient Paleo-Hebrew. And other videos we would show that, but I want to show the importance of how the language goes, how the thought goes, and how it's important that we know the language to rightly divide this word of truth. Okay, now abstract and concrete, you see that. All right, in the Greek, as you can see, Greek thought views the world through the mind, which is abstract thought. Ancient Hebrew thought views the world through senses, which is concrete thought. Concrete thought is the expression of concepts and ideas in ways that can be seen, touched, smelled, tasted, or heard. All five of the senses are used when speaking, hearing, writing, and reading the Hebrew language. An example of this can be found in Psalms 1 and 3. He is like a tree planted by the streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. In this passage, the author expressed his thoughts in concrete terms such as tree, streams of water, fruit, and leaf. Now, abstract thought is the expression of concepts and ideas in ways that cannot be touched, smelled, tasted, or heard. An example of abstract thought can be found in Psalms 103 and 8. The Lord compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abound in love. The words compassion, grace, anger, and love are all abstract words, ideas that cannot be expressed by the senses. Why do we find these abstract words in a passage of concrete thinking Hebrews? Actually, these are abstract English words used to translate the original Hebrew concrete words. The translators often translate it this way because the original Hebrew makes no sense when literally translated into English. Let us take one of the above abstract words to demonstrate the translation from a concrete Hebrew word to an abstract English word. Anger, an abstract word, is actually the Hebrew word af, which is actually ah. See, this is how they put the Yiddish. The ancient Paleo Hebrew letters ah. This is the first letter of the alphabet, which is ah, not af. So the Hebrew word ah, which literally means nose, a concrete word, when one is very angry, he begins to breathe hard and the nostrils begin to flare. A Hebrew sees anger as the flaring of the nose or nostrils. If the translator literally translated the above passage slow to nose, the English reader would not understand. Okay. So, I don't know if you guys can see me, but to my I couldn't flip it around. So what I wanted, what came clear to me when I was reading this, and there's more to read, is that first of all, we were born in the psychological damage of slavery in this country. We were born with the English language. We were born in the Western thinking. Now we go to read the Bible, which was Eastern thinking. Okay? So we start out with the wrong mentality and language and understanding from Eastern writers. And the Eastern writing and thinking was written in a Western language. So we're totally way off from anything we ever thought of. So I had to drop everything I ever thought of and go back to the language. Yes, we do a word study, and get some words and understand the particular passage that we're reading. But when we get the actual language down pat, which is, I feel is very important, especially of the research I've done, to see that the language, it's just such an awesome thing. You just have to read it and know that we need to get a full understanding. Then we will see just how far off we've been with the complete understanding and rightly dividing this word of truth. Like for example, John 3:16, that God so loved the world. And for all them years, I thought that God, that meant the word world meant of every person that was ever born, that whosoever, believe in him shall not perish. But it's actually not true. After studying it, he didn't die for a single person. He died for the system he left for us to live by. And he left that system for a certain person, a set of people, which is that one royal family, and which is the children of Israel. And as you will see over time, I don't want to get too ahead, but he created a culture and identity and a purpose for those children of Israel. And the language is part of that, because every kingdom has a language, they have laws, they have a land. And so he gave them the land of Canaan, and they had a language. Yes, it was already in the earth. But it's the same language that Adam and Eve spoke, which I can show you on our website, that actually explains from the very beginning all the way up to almost today that how that language was preserved and which families preserved it, which I'll probably do a different video just strictly for that, so these videos won't be really long. But our first thing I wanted to do is understand the language that we are in abstract thinking, which is not good because it was originally written in concrete. There's one more thing I wanted to read, and this is very okay, as you can see, let me see. Appearance and function. Okay, Greek thought describes objects in relation to its appearance. Hebrew thought describes objects in relation to its function. All right, so the writers of the Bible had Eastern thought, and they wrote in with objects in relation to their functions. A Greek description of a common pencil would be, it is yellow and about 8 inches long. A Hebrew description of the pencil would be related to its function as such. I write words with it. Notice that the Hebrew description uses the verb write, while the Greek description uses the adjectives yellow and long. Because of Hebrew's form of function description, verbs are used much more frequently than adjectives. To our Greek way of thinking, a deer and an oak are two very different objects, and and we would never describe them in the same way. The Hebrew word for both of these objects would be a yield because the functional description of these two objects are identical to the ancient Hebrew. Therefore, the same Hebrew word is used for both. The Hebraic definition is a strong leader. A deer, stag, is one of the most powerful animals of the forest and is seen as a strong leader among other animals of the forest. The wood of the wood of the oak tree is very hard compared to other trees and is as seen as a strong leader among the trees of forest. Notice the two different translations of the Hebrew word in Psalms 29 and 9. The King James translated is, "The voice of the Lord makes the deer to calve," while the NIV translate as, "The voice of the Lord twists the oaks." The literal translation of this verse in Hebrew thought would be, "The voice of the Lord makes the strong leader turn." When translating the Hebrew into English, the Greek thinking translator will give a Greek description of the word for the Greek thinking leader, which is why we have two different ways of translating this verse. The same word ayil is also translated as ruler, a strong leader of men, in 2 Kings 24 and 15. Ancient Hebrew will use different Hebrew words for the same thing depending upon its function at the time. For example, an ox may be identified as an olive when referring to a lead ox, shor, when referring to a plow ox, baquar, when referring to an ox of the field, par, when referring to an ox of the threshing floor. And one more thing, so static and dynamic. In our modern Western language, verbs express action, dynamic, while nouns express intimate static objects. In Hebrew, all things are in motion, which is dynamic, including verbs and sounds. In Hebrew sentences, the verb identify the action of object, while nouns identify an object of action. The verb malak is the reign of the king, while the noun melech is the king who reigns. A mountaintop is not a static object, but the head lifting up out of the heel. A good example of action in what appears to be a static passage is the command to have no other God before me, Exodus 20 and 3. In Hebrew thought, this passage is saying, not bring another one of power in front of my face. So if you had to rewind this and look at it again, or get the book and read it and research it and take your time, because I know we all process information quite differently. And the key thing is for us to really understand. And the Most High tells us, out of all our getting, get an understanding. And that is what I hope to give through this video and the series of videos that we do. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have anything that you want to contribute, please cite your sources to where you got your information from, so we can rightly divide the word and restructure our mental model about the scriptures. And please give the journey of how you come to the conclusion of what you believe or know to be true. Otherwise, I would have to delete your comment, because we want to structure people and give real guidance and resources. And it's okay that we have difference of opinion, but please tell us how you arrived at your opinion. And there's nothing wrong with being different or having different of opinion or different understanding. The Bible says we must reason with each other, and that's okay to do on this channel. Love you guys. Please like it and share this video, and contribute. Talk to you later.